them on their toes. Another offlaning removed. We're going to see what Moon's going to play. What is left in the pool that he often plays?
There's a lot of heroes right now.
He's pretty versatile.
Clockwork, Tide. I would say maybe Clockwork would suit the Naga playstyle a bit more, because you don't want an offlaner. If you're running core Naga, you don't want an offlaner that consumes a lot of resource. You want an offlaner that just needs levels, or maybe something like a Nyx.
Yeah,
you get your levels, you don't need. Yeah, you don't need too much farm. You're running around. You're going to try to set up kills so the Naga can farm. So those kind of offlaners are what you prefer when you have a Naga core.
Yeah, it's been Nyx and Legion Commander are the other heroes that Moon has played so far.
But then again, going back to what Owen mentioned, the Naga could still be a misery hero. Like he does play the hero, so it's not 100% for certain that, oh, this is going to be a core Naga.
Well, there's the Legion in the end, or at least that's what we're assuming. Yep. Are we assuming that that is then a Moon Legion Commander?
That'll almost certainly be
Moon Legion Commander. It's very similar towards how they want to have a Timbersaw in their draft, where Legion allows them to have a lot of deep push with his nuke, and he allows the team to have very strong laning phase, an offlaner that can distract the opponents. You're going to force them to have maybe 2 to 3 heroes at least in the lane to keep you from farming. So that's going to open a lot of space for the Naga Siren to farm.
Yeah. Naga Siren, I mean, 21 matches played so far in the Boston Major with Naga and a 66.6 success rate.
Yeah, this is still telling me that there is a very, very high chance it is indeed going to be a core Naga with the LC pickup here. Yeah. They need a catcher, and they need someone that has steep push, so that allows your core Naga to function very well. And for MP, so with the LC pickup here, it's going to give them a lot of information that a very likely core Naga is going to come in. So you have 2 options right now if you're MP. Do you go for the push with the Venom, or you're going to pick late game to deal with the Naga? Like late game, like anti-mage, those kind of heroes that are going to be able to go toe-to-toe against the Naga late game.
Do you really want to go late game against the Naga? Because surely that's not ideal.
Yeah, but at the same time, do you think that you can actually end the game? You're up against the keeper of the light. There's a lot of people, so it's a very tough decision to make. You have to go for what's best for your team.
Yeah. Could you potentially, if you're MP, think about bringing out something like a Drow strat, getting the Drow Ranger for Aoi in this sort of a lineup?
Still possible right now, because they have already gone for the Omni, so that gives me enough information that
that's to be MSS's here, isn't it?
They have already decided that they're going to go for the 5-man push. They're not going to go for late game. It's very likely that MP is going to go for some timing push. I think there was like 1 or 2 games that they put SVG on the Omni Knight. They do play support Omni Knight as well.
Yes, they can do it in both.
And once again, so this is a D push, so 100% certain Naga is the core right now with the Rubik pickup. Rubik Kotal, very good at defending towers, pushing out waves, and yeah, there we go, the draw. So MP. I
like this as well from MP. I mean, in terms of the heroes that Aoi's been playing, Drow, Luna would have been your options, but Drow is going to make Venno and Warlock just that little bit scary as well in the laning stage. And they've got that method of shutting the game down before DC gets to a certain point with the Rezo Naga, but it really is a timer. If you're kind of getting 40 minutes plus, it's going to get harder and harder for MP in terms of finishing off the game. I mean, I don't think it necessarily writes them out of it, because they can still deal with the illusions. Drow can get an axe. You've got a lot of AoE team fight. But it's certainly going to get harder. But the fact that they've got this strong early push is a really good sign for MP.
I mean, to be frank, I would have actually preferred the Drow over the Luna, because Drow is faster than the Luna. Luna sort of, you want that stage that you farm your ancients, you tend to be more passive and you get more items, whereas for Drow you're able to be much more aggressive early.
So it does seem like you guys are getting the general consensus of this has to end quickly for NP.
If NP is to win, yes. At least so far, maybe the last pick.
What could change your mind? I don't think there's really much.
I wouldn't say when it goes to ultra late they have no chance at all. It will be very difficult, but like Owen said, the Drow has a plan B. You can go for Aghanims and try to deal with the illusions in that manner. So it's not like, there's no hope at all. After the push doesn't work, there's still a plan B for them. But of course it's difficult.
Yeah, and Digital Chaos just decided to reduce the plan B potential as well with the Medusa ban, another hero that would have done really well in the later stages of the game as well, should it get to that.
It's reducing the 5-man potential. So I think when you run Drow plus Medusa on the same team, you have that front line and you have that hero that's very, very hard to take down before Naga has a lot of items. So that hero would be very scary for DC to deal with. And MP removes the Invoker. They do not want to give DC a lot more laning presence, because when you're going for the split push, you want to go for late game, you don't want to give the enemy too much laning presence with the Sunstrike. Any kill means the push gets slowed down, so you do not want that to happen.
Now with this final pick, we're obviously looking at what should be both Weeha and MV's final heroes, the two mids to be revealed.
Pushing hero, Dragon Knight.
What, for MP?
Yeah,
We're running out of time.
I want to see kind of Juggernaut come into play here because I feel that it could be strong. It could be really strong for DC, you know, having kind of that heal over time against MP's lineup. But the OD's a finish off. Drow OD.
Lane dominance.
It's incredibly strong in the lanes.
I mean, it's still really good for 5-man. Like OD works really well with a hero like Omni, Oracle, because you have that unlimited mana when you're 5-manning with the Essence Aura. So it's really good for you to 5-man. And you need to have a lot of sustain against the Quarter Blast. That's really, really important. A mech and the Omni Knight with a lot of mana. And for DC right now, they are going to have to struggle to find a good matchup for the OD. And not many good matchups left.
They could try the Weeha on the Ursa. It's something that they have done in this matchup before. They have played that in the 1v1.
I mean, as far as OD matchup goes, a Razor and Sniper are still in the pool.
Yeah, Razor, Sniper would be...
People love to pick that hero against OD if it's in the pool, which normally
But is that something you can see Resolution playing?
It's not something that he's done recently.
Resolution will take the Naga.
Sorry, you're talking about Weeha in the mid lane. Yeah.
And Weeha is very versatile. I could see him play potentially, although I like him more flashy.
Maybe even a Wind Ranger. I mean, if
you probably don't want to put him on the Razor or the Sniper, maybe. Like, you need to have him on someone like Ursa. I know he's
more flashy.
He likes that hero a lot. But then again, does that hero fit the bill of what DC needs?
It's a Templar Assassin.
TA into a Venom switch lineup. I mean, it seems like a bit of a tricky game once the team fights start going on. But do you like it in the lane?
This hero is very important against the Drow Shred, because against the Drow Shred, you want to pin them down when they're going for Rosh. You do not want to give the Drow Roshan. And with the traps of the TA, you can easily scout the Roshan happening, and you make a smoke and try to take the fight.
All right. I mean, this draft seems to have got pretty much a 50-50 vibe on the desk. You're not sure who you favor here.
I like what MP is doing.
Okay.
I hope that for them it will work. I do think that the Digital Chaos has a good plan against it as well, though.
We'll find out how it plays out. There's only one way to do that, and that's, of course, by introducing the voices in this game. Your casters are ready and locked in as we're about to venture into DC versus NP. They know each other inside and out, and so do our casters. That's Gods and Toby.
Yes, for some reason, there's just something that attracts Gods and I to these wonderfully long, potentially drawn-out games. NP going up against Digital Chaos. Looking forward to this battle.
It should be a good one. This is the makings of a great series. 2 North American squads, quote-unquote North American squads. I'm looking forward to this. NP is always a fun team to watch. DC kind of agreed upon by the panel to be the favorites in this series, but NP is one of those teams that have a lot of upset potential.
That they do. You never count out NP. NP is this team. While Winter might pussyfoot around exactly how he talks about it, NP are one of these teams where I agree with his final wording, which is high risk, high reward. You never know what they're going to do. And this is a really nice, stable draft for them. Starting off with a Drow strat. There's very few of these we've seen so far, primarily because of just the initial bans.
There's a good reaction to seeing the Naga, where it's like, all right, they're going to do one of their classic Naga strats. Our response is going to be fast-paced, early-game Dota. We've got the Drow to win the lanes. We can then push in the mid-game. They want to try and beat DC before that Radiance comes up. It does put their lineup on a bit of a timer. But also, if they do well enough in the early mid-game and it does go late-game, Drow with the kind of Ags Maelstrom build can also still fight the Naga in the late game.
We also have to remember, too, like NP, how they managed to push their way through. Obviously, it wasn't just down to this, but you have to remember the Warlock combination. And DC have to give this a high level of respect as well. Templar Assassin wants to be jumping around, finding a bunch of kills. Naga Siren's got good AoE control, but if you get caught by that rock, you could be dead, or you just get, well, fight bottom rune. That's one way to do it. Overwhelming odds, over on 3, quick imprisonment. It will be both runes for Digital Chaos, but can they get out? Envy's making a break for Roshan at the moment. Into the pit. He's going to time this right. Moon doesn't have overwhelming odds. Roshan collapsed down. TA will take the first blood. It goes the way of the Wee of the Ha.
Well, that's about as bad of a start as you could hope for if you're NP. Both Rune and First Blood going to DC. You may have banished Weeha, but Moon was there ready to take the money for himself with the bounty rune. And DC looking to contest the lanes. One of the things that they do that other teams really don't with the Naga Siren is go for these aggressive off-lane dual lanes or sometimes tri-lanes. For now, Rezo's just kind of up there by himself, but that's because he finds himself in a 1v1 against the MSS Omni.
Yeah, this will be a fun little battle to see if MSS can at least keep the farm down of Resolution. Upside about running the aggro tri-lane. All the space, all the levels in the world. So it might be a little bit more difficult for Purification to clean out these illusions that will continue to riptide you down.
For the DC safe lane, they've got access to their pools, so we'll likely see them use that to try and pull the wave back. It doesn't stack, though, so Saxa immediately recognizes something fishy's going on, dewards it, and should be in decent shape as far as this defensive lane goes. The big thing to do in a tri-lane versus tri-lane, where your opponents have the greater damage output, you look at Drow, Warlock, with the Venomancer, this tri-lane, you can't fight them. They do too much right-click damage, they sit back, they cut you out. You've got to use your pull camps. You need to deny farm, deny experience by using those pulls, and DC, they've got access to both of them.
NP, what do you do against it then? You want to walk over with the Sentry Ward? That's still going to bring you under the control of potentially a Rubik and a Keeper of the Light. They've both gone for their damage to start with the Fade Bolt as well as Illuminate. So at least you won't get stranded there.
I think you mix up your lanes now. You see that Naga's not in the bottom lane, and Venu's already venturing off. He's going to make his way towards mid, likely even going all the way to the top lane to try and force DC supports to move. You don't want this supports to be able to just play greedy, use these pull camps, deny you XP and farm. You want to make sure that they have to then go and protect the Naga Siren, because Naga won't be able to farm up top if Venomancer rocks up.
A bit of a missed pull timing there from AUI on bottom. Means he couldn't actually drag his own creep wave with him. But they did get the Sentry Ward down inside the camp, so this pull won't be happening for much longer. MSS and AUI, in fact, AUI already TP's out. They are switching up their lanes. So you asked for it, you got it.
Yep, they don't want to fight the constant denies of this DC trial, and even though they win the 3v3, if there's fighting, there's not going to be fighting. DC's not going to give them that kind of opportunity, and once the Rubik Coddle get levels, then you start getting lifted into Illuminates. Lane gets ugly, so they will rotate all their team to the top lane. Does prompt Saxa to TP up there himself, so now Rubik's up there to help back up Resolution. And Rezo, of course, one of the tankier characters, which is one of the reasons Naga's hard to deal with in the early game. She's got 7 armor, a Poor Man's Shield, plenty of HP regen, and a Mango. Not exactly like this is a squishy carry to shut down.
Yeah, her issue later on is going to be just being kited out by all the slows that can come. If she does get gusted up, then combine it with Gale, Poison Sting, and the Cold Arrows. Retreating, you might tank for a while, but you'll also be stuck on the dire side of the river for a while.
This does mean that for DC, they're doing very well in the lanes because they've got all 3 of their cores with a CS advantage because of NP's movements. Moon's getting mostly free farm at the bottom lane. Up until now, Rezo's been free farming the top, but that's going to perhaps change with the supports up there. But hey, third hero's going to TP up there. DC, they want to take the fight to NP. They've now got Rubik and Coddle teaming up with Naga, leaving the 1v1 at bottom.
They're fine with this. It just changes up the course. Now it's MSS on Moon on the bot lane. You still have the battle between Envy and Weehar in mid. The CS is very even between them all. There's the rotation. Misery is in a great position for this with the Illuminate. Flies out the back, attacks into SVG, and SVG dies very, very quickly. 1 point up in Fade Bolt, and you cop the entire Illuminate, and Resolution brings in the level 2 Riptide. That is way too much damage for a poor little Venomancer to survive through.
Yep, nice catch. They have boots on the Rubik there, just having that little bit of extra movement speed boost and finding that second kill of the game and helping them win this trial lane. Immediately NP's like, this top lane's not going to... They're basically dodging DC's trial lane wherever it goes. Veno then goes down bottom. They want to try and have at least one lane they're winning, because right now they've been losing all 3 lanes, at least somewhat on CS. Mid lane perhaps a little bit closer than others, but they're trying to turn one of the lanes into a 2v1 lane where they're going to have the edge. But anytime they make a move, DC's making a move to react to it.
Well, eventually someone has to find a better opening. DC, CS, and Killswines is looking good for them, but then how do you transition? Maybe a fight on bottom lane. MSS going in after Moon. Moon will have to TP himself away. Copped a big purification with 2 points up in that degen aura. Makes it difficult for the Legion Commander just to stand her ground. And this is also a Legion that went for no points up and oppressed the attack.
A bit of a surprise, unconventional build, but recognizing that he was in a 1v1 somewhat, so opting just to not skill it yet. Do imagine he'll be getting it at least level 5 or maybe like level 7 or 8, but won't be skipping it altogether.
Still a fantastic ability, you're right. But NP are very happy just to let this game tick on the way it is. Maybe if AUI can get a little bit more farm into him, and mainly the levels, needs to hit that level 6, then all of this MP lineup becomes a lot more, well, potent.
Yeah, they really align up that shines with levels. So you mentioned the Drow level 6. Omni's a hero that often just wants to get his levels early on, doesn't really do a whole lot in the laning stage. Perhaps a 1v1 he can try and put some pressure on with the degen build that he's going, but not a hero that's going to make great rotations. His rotations come with levels and farm, and even then it's like a, let's group up with your team. You're not smoking to try find a pick-off as the Omni. You need someone on your team to be the one initiating to help you out.
MSS is on the run. Looks like he's denying himself up to Roshan, and will give the lane to SVG, who cops instantly at overwhelming odds. Gets hit once by Moon and is forced back to his tier 1 town. There's not enough life for him to survive, so he'll have to walk all the way back to base and then TP back out to lane. So more space for DC in the laning phase. And more time where AUI has to defend underneath his own tier 1 tower. Normally you feel comfortable with this, but when you got a bunch of Naga illusions, it gives DC the ability to dive underneath the town without any real consequences.
Yeah, DC are getting just so much out of this Naga Siren right now as far as farm and pressure goes. The illusion splitting up. One chasing AUI, another
AUI is
chasing
actually
Rose.
in trouble. The illusions are body blocking. This is currently coming out. It's Resolution doing the work. Allowed Saxa the time to get in close, and then Misery with the Illuminate. He started that whole engagement by hitting the Dro in the tree line.
That's so good from Resolution with the micro. I don't know if that's him or if he's sharing control or something
Mid lane,
there.
Weeha in a little bit of trouble. Envy has imprisonment off cooldown. Weeha's going to go invis, and he's just out of range of the sentry ward. It's on the dire side of the river. Another sentry ward's coming on the courier. Will they plant it down in time? There's your imprisonment. So it's just the plague wars down for the moment. They're trying to block his path out by blocking in the tree line. Weeha dodges with the meld back behind the trees. No, once again, SVG right in the money. Hits the gale, and Weeha will tick out. He goes invis. Do they see him? Can he actually survive through this? The gale is still ticking him down, but it's not enough damage.
Okay.
Now the sentry ward is finally planted. It took a very long time, but they achieved it. They killed off the Templar Assassin, but they lost the tier 1 tower while all that was going on.
Yeah, it's one of those kills where they had to spend so much as far as buying the sentries, chasing him down, wasting time, that it's hard to really quantify just how worth it is. I mean, they get the 400 gold onto the OD, but realistically, the exchange with Naga getting a tower up top, that's the kind of space that Rezo's just loves to see his team creating for him. And TA had more than enough time just getting back, buying some items, doesn't really lose all too much there. So I think DC will be very happy with the early game, even with that one death onto Wee's Templar Assassin.
Well, you're right. Resolution is the biggest winner out of all of this. If this Radiance timing kicks on, MP have no great way to, well, counter push. DC will control the map, so they have to keep forcing the issue. MSS, or you just creep pulling down the bottom lane.
Trying to take this tower, but immediately Rubik will just take the creeps off the tower to make sure that he can get this experience. He'll miss level 6, Saxa. We'll be getting ganked from
Envy
behind there. Yeah.
moves down, gets the Astral Imprisonment off. MSS, Purification. Envy's going to stand on top of the target, so they got to hit him. The pickup, where's that mana? MSS, okay, he's going to have enough with just Envy doing the hits. So the Rubik will fall. NP with a good movement down.
Yeah, nice job bringing the numbers needed to try and guarantee this tier 1 gets taken, and also punishing a support who's just looking for his level 6. Moon's still down here. This is a risky place for him to be, but perhaps banking on the fact that there will be a Rubik TP coming soon. Rubik has respawned now, and Moon feeling very tanky. 1200 HP with Presti attack and 3 points in overwhelming odds. It's very easy to get away from ganks as a Legion commander. That's probably one of the hero's biggest strengths and why we're seeing it picked up so much here at the Boston Major.
Do you enjoy this Iron Talon build on a Venomancer?
It's okay. It's, you know, it's one of those just small little farming efficiencies. He's not going to go full jungle, but he wants to go like partial jungle. Like if he's ever at a jungle camp, he wants to be a little bit more efficient. It gives armor, you know. This item's like not all about farming jungle. It's actually one of the cheaper armor items you can get in the game. And armor, I mean, is pretty good in terms of in Dota 2. So you're against a TA, Legion, and Naga. There's a decent amount of physical damage.
Well, for now, he goes up to the top lane to find the farm.
Yep.
NP grouped up on the bottom. You're still shy of the Warlock's ultimate, and this is approaching 10 minutes in. You've only got like just over level 3 Warlock in the hands of Rose. Omni's taking most of the other farms, so Warlock needs to hold this bottom lane.
Really low level, but I guess, yeah, Rose has just been the one reacting to a lot of the plays and never getting any XP himself.
I think Moon might want to give a little bit more respect when he gets fatally bonded to an entire creep wave, and then he stays in range of the Omniite, who then throws down the Purification. He lost about 2/3 of his life in one hit of purification.
I mean, the good news is when those creeps are dead, there's nothing. You're no longer bonded to anything. You know, those creeps are dead. You don't take any more damage from them.
Yeah, that's the upside.
But you've also lost half your health. But he's got a buddy in Misery to heal him up with a salve. And speaking of Misery, already has a point boost. They're going straight into that Aghanim Scepter. Well, it's going to be a Naga Siren Radiance push timing, perhaps with a Keeper of the Light Ags timing. That could be very troublesome for NP. And talk about a great item to have against the Fatal Bond Venomanta, this AoE combo. Well, you've got an AoE heal in the Keeper of the Light Ags. Illuminate.
Moon. Oh, the smoke just broke. He doesn't have vision down that ramp. So that's the upside. Envy will get around the back of him, start with the imprisonment.
He's very dead.
And a big group up. And there's your purification damage, fatally bonded to the jungle creep. But while Moon's dying on the bottom, DC properly pushing into that tier 1 tower. SVG's causing a couple of problems. They're only level 3 Plague Wards, so it's not that bad. And also, Suxer was able to steal them, so we've got wards on both sides of the field. Templar Assassin, however, not really enjoying this stance. His TP, realized imprisonment was already used. Weeha! Very, very close to death. He's still ticking. He went back to the tier 1 tower. He didn't actually go all the way home. So the Gale was ticking him down. It's probably the closest tower he could have TP'd to, apart from double clicking.
I imagine that was a misclick. Sometimes, yeah, if you've got like quick cast or something on, don't have that double click TP. But as it is, I mean, DC getting a lot more out of the lanes. You can see the net worth favoring them heavily, and MP just doesn't feel like they've hit that timing with the Drow. Likely we see them try and sneak their way into the Roshan pit, something Envy teams are kind of known for doing. Try to get that early Aegis. They're on the Dire side, they've got the Drow. And they've also kind of hit a pretty good timing with MSS getting his levels. There's no mech or anything inside, but level 6 on Warlock, level 8 on Omni Knight. This is kind of where they're ready to take some of those 5v5 engagements before Rezo has the Radiance. But man, Rezo is ahead of the pack as far as overall farm goes.
Top lane, they're looking for the kill on MSS. If Misery is able to hit, which he does, thanks to the control, and then a purification from the Rubik. But Rock is down from Rose with a Fatal Bonds. He'll connect them again. And Suxer purifies up. This actually helps out MP because they can do more damage to him. The Song of the Siren will stop the fun for the moment. Rubik still has the purification and he wants to kill off MSS. The imprisonment in time from EE was not in time. So Suxer will come back up again.
That timing. It was like Rubik and Omni are both trying to heal themselves, but Rubik has a head start because of the insta-cast, whereas Omni Knight has that little wind-up. Great synergy between Rezo and Suxer there, giving them the kill. Rubik dying, not really the biggest deal for him. He almost got another heal off, and the whole time this is going on, Tia's actually taken over the Naga and overall farm because of the Ancient stacks. We is at 2k gold and close to presumably a Blink Dagger here, although he could also go for that Desolator first. May still be deciding himself.
Well, it depends when MP really want to attack, and Blink Daggers are rather difficult things to do up against Venomancers. With Plague Wards everywhere, you can always get caught out, but if you also just get the initiation, you don't care.
Yeah, with the Legion, because it means if Legion duels someone, you've got that instant follow-up from a Blink Melt Strike. But it's also, yeah, like you say, bad against the Veno or the poison damage. It's not really a easy, guaranteed initiation into a fight. So he saved up, there we go, buys the Blink after having 2.7. He saved up a lot of money, which suggests he wasn't even entirely sure which one he wanted to get. Very good against Warlock. You want to just jump the Warlock and force a bad ultimate out of him, and if he doesn't ultimate, he just dies and doesn't get a chance to use it in a team fight.
Radiant scanning up. They're wondering if MP have any flankers, but MP's running pretty much directly at Digital Chaos. And this is where TA can reveal her Blink Dagger. She's got a couple of side traps, and in fact even gets an Invis rune. The Illuminate slowing up the push from NP. With no creep wave, NP can't really just claim the tower.
DC are just so good at putting themselves in these positions where Rezo is free farming on Naga, and there's nothing the opposing team can do about it. All they can do is go try to take objectives elsewhere. Like, it almost feels like it's a waste of time trying to kill Rezo because it's going to take too much and waste too much time.
He's found Rose just walking on the side. The first side trap will trigger with the Melt Strike down to -8 armor. It doesn't take much longer to kill him off, and even Suxer able to manage to pick up that level 2 Shadow Word. So sustain gets even better for Digital Chaos.
That's the target you want to find if you're Weeha on the TA. Find that Warlock, take him out. He doesn't want to solo ultimate a TA. It's not going to do too much, and Instead, just goes down, and that ends the push. You can't maintain that push without the threat of the Warlock Chaotic Offering. Was still on cooldown, but NP were trying to just group up around that mid lane in anticipation of it coming back up.
T1 tower in the bottom lane to be lost by MP. No one is nearby to help out. In fact, they're already starting to TP the Warlock over into the Dire jungle.
Every time Rezo plays a snipe. There we go. 15-minute Relic. He's going to have like a 16, 17-minute Radiance.
T1 tower dropping. That's some extra cash as well.
NP are not breaking... I mean, they're not breaking T1 towers before the Radiance. They're going to have to start thinking more long-term, thinking about the late game, because with the Radiance up, they will really struggle to take team fights or to deal with the split push.
NP's looking for a fight. I don't know if they're actually close enough to the Radiant Observer Ward to be scouted out. But they smoked inside their own jungle, and that one deep ward in NP's jungle might have caught a glimpse for DC. Another reason why Weeha's doing his little runaround thing. He knows he can blink away with Refraction up. It doesn't put his Blink Dagger on cooldown when they initially attack him. Unless he gets stunned, then he'll be in trouble.
Top lane still being chipped away, but
SVG loses so much life, and with the Plague Ward stolen by Rubik, he gets just the last bit of damage in to find the kill.
That burst damage potential.
There you go, mid lane. Weeha starts stacking on the OD. Fatally Bonds is on TA, but you can see Weeha. He didn't know if he could 100% get the kill. That's why he tried to go for the side blade hit. But the blink now off cooldown. If he jumps in with the Mel Strike, EE defensive imprisonment will allow him to back up. The Shadow Word's giving him a little bit more health. So Weeha back out of the imprisonment, but won't find the kill on the OD.
Double damage TA, not something to joke about, as MB finds out. Having that Bell giving him that nice little bit of extra armor, but realistically, this is not like a super scary OD. Has the Omni to back him up, and that classic OD Omni Knight combo is there, but DC just have a very difficult amount of damage to deal with coming out on single targets from the LC and TA, but then also that kind of spread damage across the map from the Naga Siren they've got to address. And OD's not a hero that's able to easily deal with and push out those lanes. Can kill the Naga illusions pretty fast with the orb, but just isn't all that mobile right now.
I'm interested to see what Misery Scribble was just then. Scribbled on the mini-map and basically drew a line that went from the Dire Seeker shop almost like directly down over the river. He had about another 5 lines in his one. But wonder what the purpose of that is, if it's just like, you know what, guys, like, we need to control all of this area. Make sure that NP is incapable of farming up these stacks, and this gives them access to Roshan with an early Templar Assassin Desolator.
See where all the TA traps are all in that area. There's 3 traps to the north of Roche. There's actually no traps in Roche, but they're all kind of just outside of the pit, anticipating NP to move on through that area if they ever want to go for Roche itself, but that's where NP are likely to smoke up. So yeah, like now he puts a trap in Roshan, which was, I'm about to say, much needed in case NP do go for that little sneak Roche that they like to do sometimes.
Wait, hang on, that didn't work. He started to press the attack and was about to blink forward. Rose showed himself for just a split second to Fatal Bond the creep wave. Now Envy jumps in with his imprisonment. Moon, he loves this with no astral imprisonment. He wants to go for the kill on Envy. Repel is allowing Envy to do what he's doing.
Yeah, they're also safely just chipping this tower down, so there's no like necessity to force a fight here if you're Moon. And Misery's probably like telling you like only go if you get like a really good target. If you can get Envy and we kill him, sure. Ideally, you want to even get the Omni Knight, get him with the jewel. But the problem is, you dive past that tower onto NP, you're playing into their hands. You're playing into the Warlock Chaotic Offering, Fatal Bonds, Venomancer ulti, all those big AoE combos come together if you're diving into them. So DC, they do the safe approach. They slow siege, take the tower from afar, and then fall back, and they're going to get themselves an Aegis.
Yeah, and this is perfect. The fear of just the jump from the Legion Commander is enough to keep MP away. So Digital Chaos now with an Aegis behind them. They've cracked over the 10k net worth advantage. We're not even 20 minutes into this game. MP are being backed into a corner, and they're going to fight their way out. This whole team fight combo, we've seen them do it before. It was with the Marauder instead of the OD, and they had the setup of the Naga Siren.
They also had the Disrupt. They had like the team fight of all team fights there. This time around, it's kind of like, well,
bits and pieces.
They don't have the setup. That's the biggest thing. I'm okay with them not having like a full-on team fight lineup, but the key piece for me is the one hero that goes in to start the fight. It almost feels like that's going to be Envy with like an Astral, but leading the fight with an OD is a very risky maneuver. even more so if DC get a Diffusal Blade, which could be an item that, well, Naga's going to get eventually, but even perhaps Weehaw and the TA is going to consider it. We'll see if it's going to be like a BKB into Diffusal, potentially even a straight Diffusal. Once there is a Diffusal online, this game gets very tricky for NP.
Notice this
again. Take those fights.
Notice this again from DEC, where they just show one hero on the lane that's very capable of pushing by himself. And then they just take out another outer tower. NP not fighting. They're still splitting up. They're still pushing. Down on bottom lane, AUI is trying to find that space.
And there's a Naga illusion in all 3 lanes. There's a Naga at top and illusion at bottom. They want to get the Naga herself, but
Envy was too close. He actually broke the smoke when the creep wave had vision up the hill.
Yep. And that Radiant Observer Ward helps protect Resolution as well. So his team's just going to meet up with him towards that top lane, take that last outer tower, which will be a freebie, as MP have no real ways to defend this one. The Drow strat is not feeling at all like a Drow strat right now.
It's a Drow strat where you've taken one tower in 21 minutes. Yep. This isn't a Drow strat. This is something else that we can classify once it's back to the panel.
It really is this. I mean, the Coddle is there as one of the big tower defending tools, but I think more than anything, it's the power of the Legion Commander. We're seeing more and more of this hero. It's kind of been a hero that was often sometimes joked about, like, oh, why would you ever pick Legion? It always felt like it would just lose games, but it seems teams are really figuring out the hero's strengths and how and when to pick it. Sometimes you just pick it in the first 2 because of how much utility it has, from the press the attack to the overwhelming odds to its just sheer tankiness in lane. It's so good in these like dual lanes in the off lane. It can 1v1. And Moon, he's only 0-1-1. He's not won a single duel, but he's been just very annoying and impactful, preventing these towers from going down, keeping NP busy.
And that's the name of the game for DC. They know they got this game as long as they can keep controlling the map. And thanks to their lineup, it's not a real difficult thing to do. How are we actually away? Does he have the money for it?
For the Ags?
Yeah, the Ags is what I'm thinking. Because at that point, then this game turns into a brutal split push kind of approach. Because then the Naga controls all. She BTs out, instantly brought back in again. So DC had never down a man for the fight.
The great thing about having the TA is you've got a good hero to actually hit buildings with. Looks like DC are setting up at bottom, though. They've got Naga leading the way, could initiate with a sleep.
Well, here's the recall. Misery, bring him one in, start the song with the siren. Fairly certain that's going to be your TA coming in. He actually brings in Moon, so wait for it. The Illumi doesn't hit properly, only hits an SVG. The duel will begin on the Drow Ranger. Resolution will help out, and do we have ourselves a winner? Yes, we do.
They got both. The Astral cancelled the TP of Venom. What a great maneuver from DC. They showed 2 or 3 top. It was just the Naga setting it up with the sleep, and then the recalls in from the Keeper of the Light. That was a perfectly executed gank. DC haven't had to make too many aggressive plays, but one of the first ones they actually do nets them a Drow Ranger. That really cripples NP.
Very patient play from Digital Chaos. Resolution, oh, what is he doing? He's just holding him here. There is a movement. It's Weehaw. Thanks to the Observer Ward, sees MSS, Rose, and Eternal Envy down. That Sentry was looking for the ward in the lane. It's not close enough to the hill. So Digital Chaos will keep their vision, which is very, very tight from that mid lane to the top lane.
DC have everything they need at this point. The BKB comes up for Templar Assassin. Moon could theoretically buy one himself fairly soon.
They've still got the Aegis for another 50 seconds or so.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they'll get like an actual high ground push off of it, like outside of what damage they've already done. And they're starving out NP though. They've got deep Observer Wards at top lane, at mid lane. They're keeping NP in their base. The TA traps also functioning as like little mini Observer Wards.
Here's that little play on bottom lane once again. So the Song of the Siren, just a straight setup. They probably want the Illumina to hit the Drow Ranger as well, but they brought more than enough damage to this fight.
Yeah. Big thing was they positioned the Naga to the right side, so the Gust was not going to catch the LC as he blinked in. He blinked in from the north, while Naga was kind of to the south of the Drow, so he avoids the Gust there, and very, very well executed for the most. I mean, obviously they missed the Illuminate. It could have been more well executed, but the idea and the concept was there, and there was no way Drow was going to live. The Rubik TP ensured the second kill, but the Drow was the one they really wanted, and they made sure they got that one.
There's your Aegis reclaim, DC. Is it yet that time with the fresh Octarine over on Resolution, the BKB you mentioned before on Weehaw? You got Blink Daggers on Rubik for initiation, Legion with Blink and Armlet, and still got another 3.4k-ish gold. It's like Digital Chaos have everything they want to fight, and MP just need a good initiation. But where's their vision? They don't see anything in the secret shop. The Illuminate flies down. So they're very well aware of where DC is, but because the positioning of DC and with that true side of the daytime, they just can't do it. SVG jumps in, able to actually code up quite nicely with the ultimate, now dueled up, completely isolated from the rest of his team. MSS trying to keep up, maybe with the Guardian Angel he can be protected. Envy actually going to imprison him and hold him there. Guardian Angel, perfect steal as well from the Rubik. Warlock gets ripped apart. MSS will join it. This Rubik is running circles around MSS. 3 heroes down for MP and little to no cost.
That was a gem pickup from MSS. They're kind of in that position where it's like, well, we're stuck in our base. We have to buy a gem just to try and deny DC's vision. And because we're kind of in such a desperate position, it's our only way back in. So they lose that 1,800 gold swing just from the gem alone. And
Envy just walks in.
He's going to lose his whole mana pool.
Gets mana lead, gets blinding lighted back, so then he gets stunned up. Eternal Envy, say goodbye. Buyback is available and he'll expand it, but he's already calling the GG. That kind of maneuver, NP knew it. This game was unsalvageable.
That was a great game from the laning stage. NP were in all kinds of trouble. DC winning all 3 lanes. The mid lane perhaps one of the closer of the two, but I mean, you've got a Weeha TA just getting the farm he needs and creating the ancient stack. So when you win all 3 lanes, it gets very hard to turn the game around. And that's winning all 3 lanes with a Naga Siren.
Yep. It's a Naga who has no counter to a split push, a Templar Assassin who has momentum. That is the dream start for Digital Chaos. And I don't even know what MP is meant to do about that. Like, the laning didn't look right. The Drow Ranger was very... Well, I'd say smothered would be a big word for her. There was just no space to get levels. There was no time for her to really come online and be that pushing Drow that we know and love.
I think Naga is a hero you may just have to ban against DC. In my mind, they play the Naga differently to most teams, and I think they play it better than almost any other team because they don't play, let's protect the Naga Siren. They say, let's go and fight the opposing team. A team winning all 3 lanes with a Naga Siren is almost like somewhat unheard of. That's not how the hero is meant to work. It's meant to be this, we're kind of useless hero until you get Radiance and then you split push the lanes. No, Naga has some of the best base stats and base armor in the game, so they're just using the strength of the Naga's laning stage to win everything.
Yep, and we've seen some other teams like Nubia. I remember KP was one of the big ones that like to manipulate that by having these one-on-one matchups. The rotations of the lanes worked really well for Digital Chaos as well. So with all of this starting to pile up, Digital Chaos is just sitting there going, okay, we're not really stressed. There's no real problems with our draft. Everything is very, very solid. NP trying to go for this combination. We're wondering as well about like what would happen with that Venomancer. Is it going to be a core off lane? Are we going to see that kind of thing? But I think you hit the nail on the head, man. Where was the setup?
Yeah,
where was the setup from NP?
They had this idea where they played so many times with the Warlock, having these big teamfight spells does so well, but without the setup, it doesn't work. They didn't have the Mirana go with it, which they normally do. It didn't feel like NP in their comfort zone.
All right, so how do they change it? How do they change it? Game 2's coming up.
How long
panel.
was that game?
How do you rework this so NP actually has some control?
49 seconds.
25 minutes. That's how long that took. Yeah, I mean, sorry, so you got to rephrase the question I was asking to Odie, just how long that took. It felt like, we barely got going and the game was already over.
Naga strats aren't meant to win in 25 minutes, typically.
Yeah, we were saying that. I think we closed on strap yourselves in. It's a long one. And, I mean, what happened? NP completely deflated. I guess I'll have to ask these guys. And you can go ahead and shoot the person that just walked in front of that camera. All right. Sweet. You go do that. We'll go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty. Still, Shiva, Odie, and Winter are hanging out with me. And, I mean, that is the perfect way to start this discussion, right? Is you sit there and say, Naga Siren. We said it was a poor man's alchemist. We're going to get the long game. We're going to go all the way. However, we find ourselves 25 minutes later saying that DC have picked up game 1. Winter, I mean, you weren't particularly convinced, actually, by this draft as you saw it in action.
I think they overvalued like the Omni and Veno a lot. They had a wonderful 5-man draft. They wanted to push, but they couldn't clear out the lanes. They have no D push. They have no catch. They couldn't pick them off. They couldn't really get the lanes pushed out far enough. So you can utilize this 5-man combo that they have. Like, it worked really well when they had the Mirana because Mirana provides a lot of push. You clear the lane, so it allows your team to group up and push down towers. That was what I felt was severely lacking in terms of MP's lineup.
Yeah, overall, I felt like DC was just very well prepared to what NP had to bring.
I mean, NP had no D push and no catch, so what they basically had to do is just, you know, push the lanes out, make sure that MP can't 5-man.
Yeah, and it really was the timing as well that DC were able to pull it off. As you mentioned, you know, it's a Naga team winning as quickly as they did, but it was just the way that they played it, and the really nice final pick coming into action. You know, Weehaw grabbing that TA. We saw getting the Ancient stacks online, getting a really good timing on the Blink, Deso. Suddenly they were pushing towers a lot quicker than MP were able to. You know, Saxa, he was stealing the Veno wards, that was adding to the push potential as well, and it all kind of just spiraled out of control ever since the laning stage, which was just a bit of a mess for MP. You know, the decision for DC to run aggressive, we saw at the start MP safe lane starting to crumble, and then it kind of spiraled off that start, really.
I mean, where are the real positives? Who are your kind of, you know, the ones that you felt like had the biggest influence on that victory? Or are we genuinely going to come away from the first win saying it was a team effort? Do we go look at Weeha's TA? That seemed to be the one at the tip of your tongue, Odie, and I see Winter nodding.
I talked to Sebastian Seb Ahmad during that game, and he said it was just a draft win.
Just a draft win.
And in that case, you can credit Misery for that one. So.
Okay.
It was a solid draft. NP didn't really challenge it that hard. We talked about them having to have specific timers, them having to be very aggressive, but then they got their 2 supports, which I think maybe they changed their minds about having the Veno as a support later on. Having a Warlock and a Veno as supports are not your typical super aggressive supports to go for if you want to go for a Drow strat. You really have to win your lanes, and then if you don't, there's not much of a plan left for them. They tried to maybe take it late, but they were too far behind. They didn't even play it even during the lanes. They lost. They went for the Drow Ranger on the offlane at the start, and it just didn't pan out. Then they swapped it about, and they just couldn't get their plan off the floor.
Does that sound about right, Winter? I mean, the draft, you felt, or at least from what I understood, it was acquired 50-50 actually at the end of that draft before you saw it put into action.
Well, I didn't really like at the end when they sort of pit the Veno into a support and they wanted to fit the Omni Knight into the draft. I like the opening, but what followed up after that wasn't really that great, I felt, because they didn't have catch, they didn't have deep push. I mean, they had super good team fight, yes, but you can't use it. That's the problem.
Right. There was no actual team fight for you to implement that into.
Because you never get into the team fight, because the creeps always push out.
Right. Well, that was a problem. We can bring up the scoreboard. You'll be able to just refresh your memory of exactly what heroes were failing to find those team fights, and as well as other things. Owen, as you do take a deep breath and look through that one, is there anything that stands out to you, any scores or numbers?
I mean, obviously, for instance, looking at Rezo, the way that he played this game, the amount of farm, the amount of creeps he was able to hit, very, very impressive. You see him nearly hitting 300 CS in the time that this game went on. Didn't die at all. His positioning was absolutely perfect. I don't know if it's him necessarily or the Captain Misery making the calls and saying, go to this lane, we're going to move you over here. But whoever was making those decisions did it absolutely bang on. There are points of the game as well where, obviously, as you see with the 9 assists, they were getting Resolution involved in the fights as well. It wasn't like they were just saying, stay over here, we're going to fight here. It's like, we can now use this early radiance timing, get you stuck into the fights and make sure that you are miles ahead of any of the calls on MP and make it pretty much impossible for MP to come back.
Incredibly even damage distribution across the whole board. I mean, literally lowest 4.7 and the highest 6.9. That's completely opposite we're seeing from NP. I don't know how much you want to read into that. But either way, with that said, we are going to be having a little bit of an opportunity to take a look under the hood of this game. It was a quick one for DC as they do throw it down and say, what have you got, NP? And then we're going to see what Purge has got after this one.
It was a pretty good draft for DC. That's really what I saw there. The lanes were really impactful. They did a bit of a weird thing on DC's side. They ended up going for a safe tri lane that included Legion Commander rather than a typical carry. And by doing that, it allowed them to easily pressure the enemy's tri lane, which was a Drow Ranger. Legion very good against Drow because Drow hits very weak in the early game. So the other thing that was cool about that is as DC or NP realized that they're in a bad laning setup, they're going to want to take their supports or ideally their core and put them somewhere else where he will get farmed. So what they ended up doing was grabbed these guys and they started TPing some to the top lane. But the easy part then is that it only takes a little bit, only 2 heroes instead of 3 from the Radiant side to actually swing as well. So they basically just got to rotate both supports to the safe or to the off lane to actually contest the Drow's farm. And that's basically what we saw in the early game. I mean, it was about 3 minutes that the supports rotated over. Drow Ranger had already been here, but she only had 8 last hits versus the 15 of the Naga Siren. None of the 3 cores of DC really lost much at any point in time from a lot of farm. And even they end up killing the Venomancer with a nice blast from the left, which ultimately gives them a lane advantage. So you can just see it. They have 3 heroes in the safe or in the off lane. Drow's farm is being contested. She can't actually zone out the Naga Siren from getting last hits. So basically DC is getting everything they want out of 3 lanes. Envy had a great start, but I mean, when this is how you're dealing with the Drow Ranger, the Naga's not even here. Those are just illusions, and she's busy actually pushing the tower. They easily kill the Drow Ranger multiple times, guaranteeing that she doesn't get farm. And ultimately, what MP has to do is try to just push the game down, but it was pretty straightforward for DC to stop that. That's why they had Keeper of the Light. Rubik can help with that as well. And in the meantime, they've got one guy farming Ancients, and they've got another guy in the bot lane still getting last hits. So really easy game for DC because of the laning setup.
Thanks very much, Purge. Yeah, okay, I mean, the tip of his tongue is they want it on the draft. Shiva, you said you heard it from Sebastian as well.
Yeah, it was a bit mixed signals coming from the draft and NP. You knew already that they were going to have to go for an early push because of them going up against that Naga Siren, and then they just didn't follow through with that plan altogether. I felt like they kind of were hesitant to do that. It felt a little bit of a little bit off.
Disjointed. Disjointed is probably a good way to frame it.
Yeah.
Just some kind of closing points then before we do talk about the next draft, even maybe see what the guys are saying over in the social media stratosphere. But Winter, you keep coming back to this point of saying there is no catch, no way of closing that gap. Is it a necessity to you? Do you consider in this instance it should have been?
Yeah, you have to be able to catch, especially against like so much defense. They have the Kotal and the Rubik. If you don't have a hero that goes to the back line and kill them, you're never getting the towers. That was, I think, their biggest problem that game.
No towers, not good enough.
No towers, not good enough. But NP, I mean, they have some of the strongest minds in Dota on their team. I do think that they can come back and have a new plan ready to go heads on for DC. These are two teams that can go head to head, and there's definitely. You don't agree, Winter?
Yeah, putting MSS on a different hero, I think.
Yeah.
A different plan would be like putting him on like a Beastmaster.
Winter has suddenly become like the biggest anti-Omni Knight fan. You really are not. You're in the hallway here on the desk at the start. You are just anti-OK.
Well,
but you are
I mean,
okay.
If the other heroes have some sort of like, you need balance, you know, like if too much of something, that too much team fight that game. Too much of team fight is not good when you don't have catch. You need to have good team fight, like some catch, some D push, then the draft will work. That's what DC had. They had some catch, they have D push, they have team fight with the Naga Song. So they had everything. And
they had everything, and they are, well, just a step away from having a whole lot more. The semi-finals do beckon for DC, but let's have a couple of questions from you guys before we see if they can do it in 2. This one comes in from Velociraptor. What a badass name. He says, how is the CSGO community different from Dota 2? Well, I feel like that's directed at one person in particular.
I mean, you're the one that's going to know, aren't you, Alex?
How is the CSGO community different from Dota 2? God, I don't know. I mean, we're still gamers, aren't we? I'm trying to tread on eggshells here. The Dota 2 community seems like... they are very, I don't know.
I mean, what do you say, Alex? I mean, it could go bad either way. Really.
Yeah, there's no right. I think basically they're both very passionate about their games.
True.
They will both defend their game until the bitter end.
Yep.
They all have incredibly strong opinions. They all are stuck in a horrible Reddit circle jerk. There's a lot of things that both communities do. Like one person has an opinion and suddenly that's theirs. Both communities do that. Both have such passionate love for individual players. I've seen so many Eternal Envy signs in the crowd. You know, it's the same thing in CSGO. And they both just love watching competitive video games at the highest level with awesome crowds and lots of fancy lights.
And the thing is with those games as well, there is a crossover. You know, these aren't two communities that are totally different. There's a fair few of us that like to play the old CSGO, and I'm sure there's a few CSGO players that like to dabble with the Dota.
Oh, I know that. I know that for a fact. In fact, I'm pretty sure Freiburg's on the vegetable esports club, whatever it's called.
There you go.
That's a thing, right?
Yeah, Veggie Esports.
Veggie Esports. I know about you, and I know that you've snatched a Ninjas in the Pajamas player to play some Dota.
I think he's like high 5k MMR.
Yeah, he's
something
decent.
Like that.
Yeah, he's decent.
So he's actually quite good. I guess if you are having that knack for being able to play competitive any video game, then you're going to be good at any other video game as well.
When are you going to be decent at Dota, Alex?
Well, Winter, when you start tutoring me, need my 1v1s. Actually, I watched a stream where you were doing loads of 1v1s on a stream at one point.
Did I?
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
What was that? I can't remember.
A long time ago.
A long time ago. I probably lost
I was
them all.
stalking him on the internet.
You were.
I was like, hang on, Owen's doing things in Dota. Let me have a little look.
Yeah, and then you came over, took our jobs.
Yep. They take our jobs. Let's have a quick look at another question. See what else is coming in. It looks like it's... Oh, well, here we go again. Wakonga. He says, CSGO memes versus Dota memes. The Dota memes, you know what's really funny, actually? Talking of Dota memes, I met Shiva for the first time in Sweden.
Yes.
Yes, we bumped into each other. You'd had a couple of carbonated beverages.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were a little jolly.
I was very friendly
And
normal.
the first thing she said to me, she kind of came up to me, she was like, you need to learn the memes, Alex. She was like, do you know what 322 is? And I was like, oh, I do now, thank you.
I couldn't believe you didn't know what 322 was.
I
mean, some of these memes, I thought they were kind of universal.
I thought they were universal as well, to be
I've
honest.
had the memes explained to me. I mean, let's be honest, we are no stranger to games being thrown in CS as well.
That's true.
That's we have our own
I
memes
think
for that.
that same
Hashtag
conversation,
FreeBrax.
it was Eternal Envy was the first player that I actually explained. Like, Eternal Envy is his own meme.
He's a what? Did you just call a human being a meme?
I mean, Envy himself isn't a meme. He just has this amazing kind of power over memes. Really.
Yeah.
It's like, you know how you get Invoker? You know, that's Envy,
Sure.
but the balls are kind of 3 different memes that he's juggling around, and he'll whip them out anytime he wants.
I feel like Slacks juggles memes as well.
Yes.
He does.
Oh, he just consumes them, and then they come out the back end of him. That's
Oh, he poops memes. Wow, we're really getting some serious analysis, and now we can because it's DCNP, baby. Could this really be it for NP, or will they take us into 3? Oh, I can't stop rhyming. Help me.
Yes, it's not amazing.
I'm not doing them deliberately at this point. I swear, I've got Cat in the Hat syndrome.
I don't know what you have for breakfast, but
At least I had breakfast.
that's
Owen.
true. It's true. Okay, so for this game, NP, they need to change things up. They need to have a more solid plan. We saw previous game that they mostly were doing like reacting to the draft of Digital Chaos rather than creating their own plan. Winter, what do you think that would be their own plan if they had a choice? Would they first pick Naga? Is that a thing?
Yeah, they do run it on
yeah.
RE 2000. So
if it's left there, they'll
possible,
take it. Yeah, they will take it. I mean, I'm kind of wondering if it's going to be banned out by either side. You know, we've seen how well DC can play with it. Maybe MP are going to be a little more scared of that rather than the Alk or one of these other kind of late game farmers.
It does look like DC has first pick here, so if they want to ban out the Naga,
oh gosh, there
They
goes
got
the
it.
Bisma.
There's some big heroes left in though. Bat's still available. Warlock's still there. Luna. These kind of massive major first picks. But even as you mentioned, obviously Naga, Siren.
I don't think they're too worried about like the Warlock though. It seems like DC are okay with dealing with the Warlock, and they ban out heroes that MP like to pick with the Warlock. The Mirana, Beastmaster also something that I think would be very good with the Warlock. That's some catch, you know. I mentioned about how much MP were lacking in terms of catch, D-push, and Beastmaster could be a really good answer for them. So everything is in a pool, it seems. Alchemist, Naga. Gosh, Alchemist versus Naga game?
Is it really?
I mean, it could happen.
Shut up.
both still in the pool.
Right.
Why not, right? I mean, that is something that we're expecting from these teams, so they could deliver here.
But one thing about that matchup is if they both go to the mid lane, Alchemist would do really well because of the acid, and you're able to clear out his illusions really well and take the runes. So that's a particularly good matchup for Alchemist. It's very difficult for Naga to do well in that matchup in the lane.
I just saw a wing sign.
So these are actually, I'm taking a Warlock. Now you have the choice of the Alchemist or the Naga.
And the other team is probably going to pick up the other one. So
Right.
it's really like if you're calling Naga Siren a poor man's Alchemist, then you surely want Alchemist. But at the same time, it is AY, and he loves his Naga Siren.
Yes. I mean, to the point of we've seen when you give him his favorite hero.
Yeah, it's not a pretty sight
It's
for the
dangerous.
enemy team. Yes.
This is a difficult move for MP right now. I don't think they expected the first pick Warlock from DC.
They would have taken that themselves if it didn't come out from DC.
Yeah.
They were kind of expecting the Alchemist maybe or the Naga, especially because they did go for the Naga in the first phase, the last game. And DC here in the second game changing a lot of their strategies. And MP, you can tell they're taking time in their draft. They totally did not expect this opening from DC. And they're going to have to,
Did you see
change their
Misery's
plan.
face? It genuinely looked like he wasn't expecting that. Just kind of, he was like rubbing his hand on his face, trying to kind of compose himself.
I mean, MP, literally the majority of the games recently, they always open with either an SD or the Warlock. So I'm going to have to try something a little bit different here in this game too. And as you've mentioned, they need something big as well.
Ogre will be a good start to keep their
that's
draft.
something else that they have used in the first couple of picks, Ogre and such. But they're coming out with the Sand King as first.
Okay. Game of chess has begun.
Naga or Alchemist is the question. And if they don't go for that, then we're going to see surely Digital Chaos pick up one or the other and ban the other one.
Difficult to say though, because they open with Warlock. It might suggest they want to go for a more aggressive plan, but it could still work with.
Okay.
Rubik.
Well, Rubik Sand King, that is a very, very, very Chinese opening, I would say. Like a lot of the Chinese teams like Rubik plus Sand King. Very, very flexible. You can go to, like Sand King can go to the off lane, can go for the 4-row. Still doesn't, reveal anything to your opponents, what you're up to, For DC, they're going to have to pick a partner with the Warlock right now.
Takes it away from Saxa as well. You know, we've seen Saxa having some fantastic performances on Rubik.
Yeah, Rubik is still really good versus Warlock because of the spells that you could steal. Either you get the Fatal Bonds, the Rock.
Well, we get the SD Luna coming through from DC. It's a pretty strong opening. I mean, I feel straight up already, Winter, you preferring one of these openings more than the other?
You mean Warlock Luna?
Yeah.
Warlock Luna.
Yeah, no SD Luna. That's
but
definitely not
Warlock Luna is not as flexible as what MP have right now. Rubik and Sanking, you have more variations with where you can go with Rubik Sanking, whereas Warlock and Luna, it's pretty straightforward that they want to team fight you. They're going to take your towers, going to pressure you. Warlock and Luna, they're going to just run down one lane, push your towers when they want to team fight you. That's basically what DC wants to do. And you look at MP, what is MP going to do? You really do not know this.
This is literally like, this has revealed nothing.
This is like the first day when I saw you. I have no idea.
This is
what MP.
We bonded, haven't we, Winter? We have.
No.
Yeah, I was like, God, this guy is an absolute delight.
Oh, thank you.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about Owen. So good to meet you.
But you guys already knew each other, so.
Yeah, but apparently one of us bullied the other, Owen.
Yeah, according to Reddit.
Yeah, and you're older, so it's definitely you.
I am 4 months older. Yeah.
You are.
4 months.
4
close.
long months.
So MP removes the Legion Commander, something that the teams have been starting to pick up a lot more today.
But people pick it up against illusions. And so far, NP hasn't really shown anything regarding illusions. Do you feel like it says something regarding what NP might try and do here?
I mean, this is just based on my observation, but I think that the teams really value him as an offlaner initiator because he has like multiple ways of helping your team. He has the stun removal. He's really good in the laning phase. He provides you with a short cooldown catch. He has deep push. He has a lot of useful tools for a team. And being good at dealing with illusions is also a bonus for the meta.
Right, the Keeper of the Light is the other one that gets removed. Digital Chaos got their hands on it previous game.
That's basically what you don't want to face up because now DC are trying to do what MP are tried to do in the first game. They're trying to 5-man, so they do not want to be bothered by the Cotter Blast, and they do not want to be slowed down and annoyed by that. So I think that's a pretty good ban, and it gives us a really good idea of what DC are going to do this game. They're going to 5-man, they want to take towers, they do not want you to defend your towers.
There is always such a contrast, isn't there, from the first draft to the second. The first, it's like everyone's done their initial homework and they do their big initial, like, this is play one. And then draft two, it's suddenly like, okay, suddenly scramble, everything changes down to the remaining, 35 seconds in their time now for NP.
I mean, that's like the beauty of NP's opening. You really do not know what they're trying to do.
Do they?
I mean, they can adjust if they want to. I think that's one of the beauties of a second game in a series, always seeing who adjusts best and fastest. Because surely Digital Chaos, they won previous game very convincingly, but at the same time, they know that NP is going to adjust, and they're trying to think one step ahead about how NP is going to adjust and already adjust. Like, it's a mind game. It's a never-ending mind game.
Yeah.
It is chess indeed. 7 steps ahead, right, Winter?
Yep, just like my chess game with Alex yesterday.
Did you actually play?
Yeah, I tried. I basically played a game with him in the bar.
He lost in 15 moves, so faster than Owen.
I lost quicker than Owen.
There you go.
Well, you know you've messed up, right, when you move one pawn and Winter looks up from his phone and just goes, God. I got tutted at for my first move. Oh, well.
I like that.
Only room for improvement. The only way is up. And there goes Sven. Okay.
Yep,
NP.
one of AOI's like
classic
hero, and it's really good against the Warlock because you're able to kill the Rock in a few shots with your God Strength, and you give your team armor. So I think it's a pretty good counter towards the Warlock ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah, we've seen.
Wait a second. What's going on here?
Oh. What is he doing?
That's just a little tease. Little tease. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was.
There wasn't anything.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Nothing happened, guys. Nothing happened.
Well, I guess you're happy now, right? There's no Alchemist, there's no Naga.
Honestly, I'm feeling good. Feeling very positive about this.
Can I add yet? Do you feel like there's still room?
I mean, you can't really fit it. It's unlikely that MP are going to pick a Naga, but DC could.
Dude, we saw Alchemist Luna game.
Alchemist, I think, definitely could be on the cards for WeHeart.
Nice.
Yeah. I got to give you some of those glasses. They're fantastic.
I feel like he's directly talking to me.
Earthshaker.
I gotta get me someone that actually puts the glasses on for me. That's what I need.
Guys, that's an Earthshaker.
That's pretty high. I mean, I'm looking forward to some massive Echo Slam Fatal Bomb combinations.
Is that a Moon hero?
I was going to ask that. Yeah, I hope
Could it be the
so.
Moonshaker coming back? Something that we've seen at previous big
he's
kind of Valve events.
He's very known for playing that hero.
The
Alex.
Moonshaker.
Yeah,
the Moonshaker.
But that's going to give Rubik more spells to steal. So Rubik's going to be pretty happy with that pick from DC. But it does give them very good combination with the Fatal Bonds.
Do not give Alchemist.
Do not give.
If that was
I think that a reason for a lot of people to get excited about this pick, SVG Elder Titan, this was one of the things that he was known for the most when he first kind of started to play with MP.
So everyone's kind of going to their signature heroes, it seems.
It's nice. I think this is exactly what you want to be seeing, especially from MP. Down a game, Alchemist is there. It's scary.
Okay. And you're attached to your headset.
I just realized that, I'm coming back.
Yeah. For people that missed it, Alex actually stood up and
He
walked
tried
away.
to
He tried
to
to
leave the job, basically.
But I really feel the good point is that I kind of like MP's job so far against Hiao. They can force fights early on, but they need to. I mean, if he gets to the point where Weeha's kind of laughing away with the armlet radius and such, it's going to be pretty much potentially game over. It's going to be very hard for them to come back against a farmed Alchemist. But if Aoi gets ahead, you can get a huge amount of damage on this Sven with the God Strength. You can chunk down that Alchemist.
Natural
but you have
order.
to keep yourself on par.
Natural order plus the Sven ultimate. That's a lot of damage there for MP Sven. So going late game, but then again, you have to understand that Sven is a lot slower than the Alchemist. If you're not going faster in the early game, you're not ahead. The Alchemist just pulls away in terms of network very quickly. And he's not the only problem you're going to have. There's a Luna. That's
there's a lot of team fight on DC and late game insurance policy with the Alchemist there, and it feels like NP they're good with fighting, but I'm not sure how they will do in a full 5-on-5 team fight. I feel like maybe even Digital Chaos is slightly ahead, depending on if it is a Moonshaker or not.
Jackie Ma's going to pick something weird like a Death Prophet, I think. I don't know what he's going to do.
Death Prophet?
Yeah, the push.
Okay, Winter's got a feel.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
Got a little feel, but he's going to play some weird hero, I think.
I'm feeling Jackie Mao bringing out the old Queen of Pain again, personally.
Please.
Come on.
I think we'd get a swear. We would get a swear word out of Winter if we saw a Quap.
There's
the axe. That's the first one.
So
nice
in
front
terms
runner.
of what we're going to be seeing, it is looking to be what the support of Shaker and Moon on the axe, would you imagine?
Yeah, support Shaker.
Yeah, support Shaker then.
Okay, no Moonshaker.
Well, unless they're trying to do something greedy with a jungle axe and offlane of Shaker. But I
Can they be greedy against MP
Dude,
lineup?
they already have Alchemist and Luna. What more do you want to do? You want to be more greedy?
More greedy, more money.
What do they go for here, though? Final pick. I mean, MV, he could play something like the Dragon Knight, something that's going to be able to lane up against the Alchemist, stand in the acid spray. You've got that extra armor. I'd still love to see a Queen of Pain.
He's going to show us the Terrorblade mid against Alchemist.
Oh, he's not going to do that.
10.
Don't be silly.
It's just Jackie Mao.
6.
What's he going to do?
4.
It's a Timber Saw.
Okay, I mean, there's 3 melee strength heroes on the side of DC, so straight up kind of looking to deal with that one.
But do they have a timing window?
Definitely. I mean, against this Alchemist strat, I mean, you've already got a team that's going to absolutely love the Aghanims being given out.
They have pretty good heroes at dealing with the Alk, though. I don't know about timing. Their late game seems pretty good against the Alk.
Okay, it's locked in. NP versus DC. Digital Chaos are 1 win away from a semi-final spot here at the Boston Major. We heard from them themselves. They felt like they'd been underestimated by their opponents, and now NP are just 1 loss away from being eliminated here in the quarters. It's time for them to prove and show what they're worth. 1 game of Dota to determine their fate. Your casters are ready, so let's jump in without further ado to another fantastic game of Dota.
Game number 2, DC versus MP. Who is going to take it? Digital Chaos looked very convincing in game 1, but game 2 is a whole different kettle of fish, gods.
Game 2, it's DC with a similar big game, greedy carry, the Naga to the Alchemist, but DC up against a very different NP lineup. This time it feels like NP have adjusted, are looking to tackle the problem directly. They picked up the Timber, they picked up the Elder Titan. They want to be able to try and limit what the Alchemist can do. We'll see how it works.
Is this going to be enough, though? Like, as the panel was saying, like Sheev was going to say, this DC lineup is going to really earn real money. How does NP try and stem that?
Well, they want to try and hit some early game timings. The Sven, well, obviously you want to kind of farm up your Ancients and get those items up first, but normally Sven hits this 3-item timing where he's got Helm of the Dominator, Blink Dagger, and Echo Saber. Once you get that 3rd item, the Blink Dagger, that's where you go. You take smokes, you play aggressive, but even before then, the lane states, they want to use the Rubik, Sand King, Elder Titan to really set a fast tempo, try find some early pickoffs. Don't let DC just sit back and farm and chill in their jungle using the Alchemist. So we'll see how well they can play the early game aggression, because that's not really a style that they're necessarily known for. They're more normally they're the ones being the greedier team, which is not the case here.
Well, the laning phase is going to reflect that. For now, Weehaw is just dancing a nice little jig over on the Dire side, knowing he's going to get this first rune. This time it's no competition for the bottom rune. There's DC ensuring the top rune for Weehaw. Unless MSS and Rose have some kind of shenanigans planned. We did see a Rubik get a telekinesis grab and then rune denial, but Rose is too late to the rune. So that is not going to happen today. Or again today.
Yeah, so I really like the out pick. It really pulls NP's draft together nicely. It's just like, how much is this an Envy hero? I haven't seen him play it all too much. It's not like a hero that's like kind of his expected hero pool. You think Envy, you're thinking your ODs, your Razors, your Invokers, but playing what's needed for his team here, and it is a very good matchup when he comes head-to-head against the Alchemist. Problem is, Alchemist can lose his lane and get outplayed, but then he's got bounty runes. Then he's got jungle stacks to fall back to. So it doesn't really matter if the lane doesn't go as well as you'd like as an Alchemist, as long as you're getting some runes.
For now, he doesn't have jungle stacks, and for now, we should also probably keep our eyes a little close on top lane.
Yep.
Misery hovering around. Can't really get close enough for a fissure block. Also understands the ET stomp's going to cause some problems. But the stacks which you're talking about for the Alchemist, they don't exist because Moon is starting inside the jungle. Iron Talon first, disgusting. He'll be playing that jungle, thank you Moon. And then the bottom lane, AUI has a completely free lane, alone as the Sven.
Yep, he's going to look to just push the lane as much as possible, which frees up the pull camps for Rose. So Rose on Rubik is going to get some CS, some farm, as well as levels in the jungle, trying to maximize their efficiency early on.
Fissure out from Misery and the Burrow Strike.
Okay.
Catching MSS doesn't make as much sense just because the Burrow Strike lets him go underneath that stone wall.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the jungle is the big thing that Alchemist doesn't have just yet. But if things start going poorly for him, got to imagine Axel look to free it up for him later on. Perhaps not till like 5-6 minutes in, but once Alk doesn't jungle until he hits level 6, level 7 anyway. So. For the time being, this setup works just fine for them, and it really is DC playing the greed game as far as not even contesting the offlane. They're not looking to keep NP supports busy. This is basically them saying, we're going to just out-farm you. Your supports can do whatever. Your carry can free farm away. We're going to beat him.
Well, as long as your top lane can survive it, MSS has to Burrow Strike away. Resolution has another Lucent Beam available, combining it with the Shadow Word. Okay, that Lucent Beam, the damage, they have enough! From range, DC will find the first blood. Misery's in the neighborhood with a fissure, and very wisely, SVG will back out.
They didn't even need Misery for that one. That's not the first blood that MP were hoping to give up in that off lane. Considering the Earthshaker wasn't even there, it is a bit of a misstep coming from NP. We'll see if they look to continue their pressure in that lane.
ET Illusion is currently chasing him. He was just farming. That Illusion does practically nothing to that axe.
2 damage.
That's huge, massive, drastic change in his.
He heals faster than he takes damage to the Illusion, but it will be able to block the camps, so that's at least one nice small way to slow down the farm.
But this is around that time that Axe is happy to go to the bot lane. Like, you got your boots, you got your Talon, you got almost 5 levels onto the Axe. So he's very, very happy. Weehaw copying a lot of damage. Misery ready there to throw out the fissure. He's more of a babysit. Weehaw still salving up, and Envy, he's pretty deep. He's got 10 reactive armor charges up, and now the TP is coming, but it's Axe coming over. Envy, too deep, can't pull out, and now maybe with the spin, Envy down low. Whirling Death gave him a little bit of space. Bottle charged up quickly. They actually had the movement speed thanks to the early point from Battle Hunger, but Moon, he needs something. Envy up the hill, 1 second till call. Fissure is out, and Envy is still down. Finally down! That armor is effective. SVG also forced out of the top lane. Thanks to the Fatal Bonds, he's actually tied into the catapult. They can attack the catapult and bring him down. They realized it. But the damage was still enough with Lucent Beam. The Observe Ward on the hill gave them very clear vision.
That is the dream start for DC. Dominating their safe lane in the 3v2 setup, and now getting the kill onto Envy's Timbersaw mid lane. Normally a hero in the mid lane who just doesn't go down unless you really commit. 3 or 4 heroes. They do bring 3 heroes there, but it doesn't really feel like they do, considering Alchemist just sat there farming. He didn't even chase. He threw an acid spray and then just backed off.
Bottom lane.
His contribution was very minimal.
Moon has managed to cut the lane, so he gets in, looking for the call, doesn't have it, but the fissure block from Misery. He waited for the perfect time. Axe, where's the spin for the ding? Misery! Okay. Totem him down. Give that bonus 100%. That's one way to ensure you get through the Warcry armor.
Is this going to be the same thing as last game, winning all 3 lanes? DC can't really claim they're winning the mid lane, considering that Alchemist only has 12 CS currently. And ET makes a nice move to swoop on in, prevents one of the stacks from happening, as I think he's well aware that Wii is at that point where he doesn't want anything to do with this mid lane. He just expects himself to be able to farm faster in the jungle, and we'll try and contest this.
Oh, this is a pain lane. Saxa actually commits the Sentry Ward under the Tier 1 tower, looking for MSS. Managed to get the Shadow Word off directly after, but MSS burrow strikes into the trees. Not much mana left, but mid lane's probably going to be where we look for the kill. Envy again on the wrong side of the river. Misery starts with his stun, follows up. The Storm Bolt's coming in, but with the rotation from Resolution, they have more than enough magical damage. The problem is they look very tired while they're asleep in the Tier 1, in the mid Tier 1 tower.
They had the Eclipse there, but too many creeps in the neighborhood, and the Fissure not quite on the side for Axe to get in range for the call, and really nice positioning from ET to be there to help him out. Zanking top getting very low again, and that high ground cliff ward's causing him a lot of problems.
Resolution wants this rune. He doesn't have a bottle. Envy does, and it's going to steal the bounty. And on bottom lane, it's just the regen for Sven. Okay. Ships in the night. Looks like Envy is up here contesting Weehar as well inside the jungle. Doesn't want to let this Alchemist have any level of free farm. Doesn't have a lot of mana to work with, and Envy's obviously going to be a lot more scared about the rotations of the DC players. Misery's still missing on the map.
Coming in, not expecting to be able to kill off Weehar, but hoping to obviously limit the Alchemist farm, even taking these small ones.
Misery's coming. Envy is really overstaying his welcome, but Timberchain will have a lot of confidence, knowing there's no concoction.
Got Luna coming in. The Eclipse is the tool that they need most if they want to get this kill, and Radiant Observer spots the Luna.
It doesn't see Misery, however, and Envy, well, right now he's kind of gone bush.
He's getting
trying to hide.
He wants to block the camp before he TP's out.
Courier is going to fly right over the top of Eternal Envy. No Courier kills in this game just yet. And then a quick smoke. This was out of range of vision of MP.
I mean, that's the Envy efficiency. He doesn't want to TP 2 seconds before the neutral respawn. He wants to TP as the neutral respawn gets blocked. So just making that extra little bit of an efficient play to limit
Resolution. The timing might be perfect. A quick Lucent Beam. He doesn't have to commit much more. The Lucent Beam will connect. SK in the trees. He's got no way to cut through. MSS. Fog of War is his friend. And maybe now Rose steals Lucent Beam, picks up the Luna, throws it back, gets a stun over on the Earthshaker, but then Eclipse is just committed. You can see Rose making a break for the Trolls, hoping for a denial, but with that one hero down, now DC with a catapult can push into the Tier 1 tower. Yep. Unless SVG can do something to slow this down. Spirit Stomp is not a bad way.
Got to land it though, and nice little sidesteps will tempt.
Misery has Fissure still.
In.
Even if SVG thinks he's got this, he doesn't got anything.
Yeah, TP was cancelled at bottom by Moon. Moon is actually going in aggressive. He's got a dunk.
Well, with the spin, if he can get in range, Rose TP's just in time. Telekinesis grab will pull him away. Now there's a call available for Rose. He might be able to actually hold the axe here.
Oh, Moon is just playing like a boss in this bottom lane. He knows there's nothing that can stop him. He sees AUI again.
Make a run for him, but AUI feels like bait. EE is on the way. Careful not to cut away the trees.
His way through.
The rest of MP actually need to have that Fog of War to work. So Timberchain forward. Rose with a pickup. Now the call. Pulling back in range of the Tier 1 tower. But Dark Creep Wave stops taking the damage. Maybe he'll start hitting Moon, but Saxa arrives. He's got Fatal Bonds plus Rock. They do not want to fight into this one. What's stolen? It's just going to be Shadow Word. Will give good regeneration to Envy if he wants to keep running forward, but Moon and Saxa are leaving.
Moon just like 1v3ing at the bottom lane. Timber rocks up, can't even turn that kill around. That was some ballsy play from the DC offlaner.
Eternal Envy should be dead. Fatal Bonds connects, the Fissure, not the greatest target in the world. Moon will have to run it down in order to get this call off. Able to do so, doesn't want to stand inside the Shark Room, but when they drop the rock instantly into the Culling Blade, It might look like overkill, but it's still going to let them pressure this Tier 1 tower very quickly.
Yeah, it was necessary to burst the Timber. Without the rock damage, he wasn't in the dunk range, and the kill may have been lost. So they guaranteed a kill and set themselves up to push the tower.
Trouble? No, wait, hang on. That's only a level 5 SK. Where is his levels? Where is his net worth? He's at 1,500.
Oh my God, he's number 10.
Well, that's not good. The bottom 3 net worths right now are between like 1,680 and 1,560, and they all belong to NP.
Well, the smoke here from NP at top.
That's a good Lucent Beam steal, but he can't get in range for resolution.
They didn't get the telekinesis off with the wind lace, the movement speed, able to outstrip what NP were doing. That wasn't a very, like, they just smoked and ran straight at him down the lane. They didn't try and flank him, come in from behind. It was a pretty lackluster attempt at the kill onto the Luna there. And Resolution easily avoids it, so it feels like NP just getting a bit desperate here as DC up 7-0, up a huge amount of farm. Alk has 6.6k net worth. Sven is not farming well at all. Sven hasn't even got his Helm of the Dominator yet.
And Axe just picked up a Blink Dagger. The danger zones on this map are everywhere in Eternal Envy. Bond him up. Blink, call, Fissure will hold him there for a little bit longer. He's not in dunk range. Reactive Armor's going to help him. If only he could Timber Chain. Wasn't possible. And Moon is able to get the swish.
Well, with a Blink this early on, DC have all the tools to control the tempo of this game, and this is where it doesn't matter how the Alchemist lane went. He's one.
Oh, they see AUI. AUI's just farming underneath the Dire Observer Ward. Axe can't get close enough to get the blink off. He ran down the wrong way. This allows SVG to come over, gets the stomp on the Earthshaker. Remember, Axe might be willing to fight this. Okay, maybe not so. That's a God Strength Sven that just did not need to be fought.
You give that one up. You're getting free farm on your Alchemist in the jungle, on the Luna at top. No need to spill more blood on your side just to save your kind of 5-position Earthshaker. He's not really getting a hollow farm now. Misery, of course, the 4-position player, but finally we'll see MP with a bit of an ancient stack. They are going to farm it with Envy, helping tank this one for Aoi.
And with AUI getting this, at least he can get closer to that armlet. To the BKB. Already has the Helm of the Dominator.
Fairly low here, and without the God Strength, it is a bit slower than they'd hoped. But
question mark, where is MP's items?
He's zero. I mean, he's just dying a lot. He's not got any items, Toby.
Yeah.
That's really all there is to it.
That's a very accurate answer.
He's had a rough time. There's been a lot of pressure. He's overextended in the mid lane. Definitely showing that he's not as comfortable on Timbersaw as these other more NVS mid heroes. It's a great pick for this game, a very good counter pick for the Alchemist, but overstepping his limits in the mid lane. He was creep skipping the mid lane, sitting behind the tier 1 tower, and he got punished for it. The Earthshaker and Axe rotations have been on point, and DC
Speaking of which,
have limited what he can do.
Here they go again. Moon looks towards Eternal Envy, blinks forward, gets the call. Timber Chain won't work with the Fissure control. Timbersaw low, but not low enough for the dunk. So Envy's able to chain himself up and into the hillsides.
Couldn't get the Lucent Beam off. Rezo was a little bit further behind, but it does still look like DC maybe poised to take this tier 1 mid, but NP already pressuring up top in a decent spot themselves.
Wow, okay, there's a nice little kill back. So there's the second kill for MP. Both have been on the Earthshaker, but times are about to get tough. A 13-minute Radiance is coming on the Courier to Weeha. At the time DC push, they still have their big ultimate up. Suxa has that rock available. Moon able to get the blink call onto SVG. Now the rock will drop. Not much of a fatal bond connection, but it's still enough to ensure the ET will fall.
Might not be able to get this tower now. There's a lot of ultimates
Envy.
just for one.
Oh, Moon almost got the call off. It won't happen. Concoction flies out from Weeha, and now Envy turns to fight. So low, the Radiance is burning him out. Alchemist will find the kill with that Burrow Strike 4 from MSS. But he's locked in thanks to the Fissure that Rose stole. The call will bring him in with the dunk. Everyone from DC gets a buff, and they look for more. The Observer Ward scouted out AUI, moving down to the bottom lane, and DC know they can freely push to even the tier 2 tower now.
This does not look like an Alchemist who got pressured in lane and jungle. He had jungle camps constantly being blocked. He had his jungles being stolen by NB coming in to take like all kinds of different neutral creeps, but still the 13-minute Radiance, and not just looking to keep farming with it. Weeha joins his team, fights around this strong early game Radiance time. And whenever he's got the Chemical Rage up between Armlet and Chemical Rage, he's pretty unkillable in that front line. MB doesn't have the damage upward yet. Only 2 points in Whirling Death, 2 points in Timber Chain, the single point in Chakram. He doesn't have levels as a Timbersaw to pose a big enough threat.
It seems odd. Now he's going to try and battle against Moon, who gets the call off, and Envy follows him unwillingly.
Yeah, not by his own choice, by any means. Moon was just looking to farm there. He kind of blinked in and didn't realize Envy was on top of him until half a second later.
I don't think he's going to care that much now. He's completed a Vanguard. This is an insanely tanky Axe, which NP can't kill, even because Envy is the one who is meant to be able to deal with him.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for... That's the thing. Even if Sven catches up in farm, there's going to be potential Crimson Guard on the Axe. There's Alchemist you can build into the Shiver's Guard, into the Assault Cuirass, all kinds of armor items there. He can get blocked off in fights by fissures.
They want to use Misery as bait. Now Axe Blink,
Echo
call
Slam.
again! Caught him with the Echo, the Fissure, the Dunk! Everything is just sweet and fluid for DC.
Yeah, they're making all these good moves where they don't have to bring in 3 or 4 heroes. It feels like when NP go for a kill, it's like 3, 4 heroes just to kill an Earthshaker. For DC, it's like 2-man gank. They have a Blink Axe. All he needs is a +1. When you can gank with a Blink Initiator and just have 1 hero partner up with him, that's when things are going very sweet. Alchemist has not had to come to a fight the entire game.
There goes your SK. MSS tries to hide. Sandstorm won't keep him hidden long enough. So Warlock finds the kill with the Fissure, the ET Splitter. Third death, 100% Misery.
Yeah, it's not so fun, but he's playing just very aggressive with his positioning, which is not to fault or anything. It's how DC are in such a good spot because of some of his movements. Killing the Timbersaw on numerous occasions. It's been really good aggressive play from Misery, but every now and then you get punished. An Earthshaker, very slow hero with no escape, so... Another tower. Weeha's involved in this one once again. He's now got the Boots of Travel. And they can even go for Roshan if they want fairly soon.
As long as they can hold on to the rest of their lanes, Misery will take care of the top. Luna finishes up an entire Hurricane Pike. Not even a Dragon Lance, a Hurricane Pike 16 minutes in.
They've got more bounty runes coming the way of Alchemist. And yeah, this is really do or die time for NP. They need to think aggressive plays they can make. And I mentioned the 3-item timing on Sven. The Blink Dagger is, I imagine, coming next.
Oh, Envy just wanted to farm. Resolution's going to be here. Lucid Beam won't hit. Concoction flies out. Misery's able to get the stun. Kind of on the wrong side of the Fissure, however. So Eternal Envy just makes a break for the top lane. And he'll TP back away to safety in just a sec. Or will he?
It's Envy. You never quite know what he's going to do. Always plays that, goes for that extra creep wave or that extra bit of efficiency.
He's cutting all the way back past the tier 2 tower. Right now, Greenpeace is not his friend.
Is he going to take this creep wave? Has the Arcane Rune. Look like it.
Well, the creep wave just passed.
He knows his team is coming towards his top lane. Yeah,
he thinks someone from DC is going to fight this, but everyone from DC has already left. They don't want a bar of him.
Yeah, they seem to be well aware that this Sven is, in fact, bait. And they see the Sven top, expect heroes behind him. They say they're all top, we take Rosh. Tier 2 top tower for Roshan. A fine trade in DC's mind.
Yeah, because this is also going to set DC up. Once they have the Aegis to the Immortal, you're looking to go high ground. You've got your combination up. The Alchemist is in a position now where he's going to be very comfortable fighting and not just having to, to split push this game out. And we'll see if MP's up to the task to defend.
That's kind of what separates the good Alchemist players from the Alchemist players that just go through the motions, picking up the classic items, the Radiance, the Armlet into Radiance, Boots of Travel, Mantis, Star Octarine. It's the ones that know when they can fight. The fact that he fights when he had just Radiance and Armlet because he knew he was ahead. And now he can actually push high ground before he hits some of those item timings. A lot of Alchemist players are just like, oh, I do nothing until I'm 6-slot. No, this hero is very powerful if you are in fact ahead. So fighting around the Alchemist is definitely a way that DC can look to play this one out, and they do not want to give NP too much breathing room just to make plays happen.
But you can see NP are also very timid, so even if the play is good to go out, and that tier 2 tower still didn't even fall. Digital Chaos took care of it. Yep. The Axe was sitting behind the tower, but MP potentially could have forced the push with that many heroes they had and got some kind of trade, but they don't even get that.
It really shows the team with no vision. They're playing scared. They don't
Top
know
lane,
for sure.
Weeha actually BT's in with the concoction already prepared, stunning into Eternal Envy. Almost a whoa, boy! Okay. That is a Mack truck, and he is planted on the grill.
Yikes. That's a worrying sign. Alk solo killing your mid. Envy now 1 and 6 on the mid. Timbersaw really signs of the current state of affairs here for Team NP. It's a very desperate position to be in. They need to make use of this Blink Dagger they've now picked up on the Sven. Had to wait for his God Strength and use that to farm the Ancients, and once he's got it back up, it really feels like you've got to go for a smoke and go for a big initiation. It's so risky because of the counter initiation from a Warlock, from an Earthshaker, from an Axe. There's 3 huge counter initiation, but you've still got to do something. You can't sit back and give DC the game, letting them farm and take everything on the map.
I would say the Blink Dagger on the SK might help them too, so MSS has that, but he's being shut down so heavily. There's still a level 1 epicenter.
He just got the Tomb of Knowledge, so he gets that XP up. He's now level 2 at least.
All right.
He's going to look to probably hide in the trees, but if you're DC, you may just push very safely, only have Rezo on the front lines.
Wow, okay. Earthshaker has his own Blink Dagger. So you can have that Echo Slam. Weehan's already left. Goes to bottom lane, triggers off the Mana Style. Eternal Envy was trying to push this lane out, but Weehan
could just
reads the maneuver, and Weehan, we'll see how much damage he's got. Chemical Rage is on cooldown for the moment, but Concoction will hit, and Timbersaw, there's no way! He can't survive it! EE caught outside the base.
Yeah, tough. He knows there's a lot of heroes top. He wants to get that bit of extra farm before defending, and Weehan just happens to be in the right place. Perhaps could have backed when he saw the illusion, since that's a telltale sign that, hey, Alka's nearby, he just used Manta, but you've got to really push your hero to the limit when you're behind as much as NPR right now, and we are able to punish that.
And all he want to do was just farm up more. Picks up more bounty runes on the way around. He's got 3.7k gold on the Alchemist, and it looks like it's Nocturne build. BT's to the top lane, so he's got so many more stats ready to push this top. SVG going to miss on the stomp. In fact, it's going to get fissured. It's a little bit further back, but DC are okay with this. They're here for the tower. Once they have the tower, Resolution's Glaives are going to tear NP in two.
Oh, that tower's dropping fast.
At least Rose has the Chemical Rage. So he's got a little bit more sustain, but yep, there goes your towers. Visions are out, Moon waiting for the blink. He actually has it on cooldown for the moment. Eternal Envy is actually being forced back out again. The Resolution's just open on the range racks.
And Battle Hunger on Aoi means he can't blink into an initiate. That's a big problem for them right now. They get a lot of good permanent damage on the range racks. The melee racks will be healing up, but I imagine DC are not going anywhere. They want to come back in here.
Yep. Range racks is gone. Glaives continue to bounce around too. Where's your jump? There's the epicenter. MSS goes in. Misery's low, but he still gets a stun off. The Stomp, it might be enough, but no, it's not. Suxa gets his ulti to drop down with the rock. It is all the momentum going the way of DC. The Earthshaker might have fallen, but Resolution stands his ground. The BT's back. AUI looking for some kind of kill, but even then when he TP'd forward, he instantly blinks into defense. And it's Envy caught on the wrong side of the tracks. It's already a double kill for Weeha. Moon will dunk it down, but it's Resolution with a triple kill, and GG! DC will not only 2-0 NP out of the Boston Major, they will obliterate them.
That was a stop, Toby, from Game 1, 25-minute Naga victory. Game 2, 25-minute Alchemist victory. You're talking Alchemist not the biggest of late-game heroes, but heroes that normally win games around the 35 to 40-minute mark. No, DC win all their lanes, outplay NP badly. This was just pristine play coming out from Digital Chaos.
And the only reason why this wasn't a one-punch knockout is the fact that NP were forced to play 2 games. This is brutal, and I would feel very, very sorry for any team that has to go up against Digital Chaos. They are looking solid in draft and solid in execution at the moment.
DC is one of those teams we just haven't talked about too much. They haven't been in that side of the bracket where you've got your VPs, your EGs, your OGs, and they've kind of silently just swooped their way into the semifinals. And realistically, they're playing on a level easily as good as those teams. Potentially, you could argue even better, because the way they win, the way they move around the map, it's just flawless. That's a team, NP, who've had really close games against other top teams like Wings. They took down eHome. They beat an EG if you go back to the beat LAN. Yep. And here they are. They look completely outclassed by DC. You've got to look at DC right now as one of the tournament favorites.
I'd be more, Adfin of an LGD Forever Young are the team they face up next. DC look really set.
They're loving their bracket, but
yeah, they look really, really set to get into that grand final. Of course, who are they going to face up against? We're going to find out tomorrow. But who's actually going to face up against them? That's from this afternoon's matchup panel. Who gets there?
I mean, that is a huge question. We have to just take a couple of moments, surely, Toby, to just appreciate the speed at which that game is over. I know you already commented on it, Gods, but I mean, what is it, 47 minutes for a series? If you actually just add up the in-game time, that's absurd. And I'm sure no one expected to see NP crumble in such a quick fashion.
Their early game really got exploited by DC. Despite the fact DC's picking these late game carries, the Alchemist, the Naga, I think DC just found a way to really punish NP's weak laning stage.
So picking up wins with stereotypically long game heroes in sub-25 minutes.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the summary.
That's scary if you're going to be versing DC.
All right, so all eyes are on DC. Thank you very much. That was Toby and Gods. It will be a brief casting stint. It's already over. One of the quickest series we've seen in the Boston Major, at least at this stage in the game. Quarterfinals, and it's done in 47.
Toby opened the series saying, you know, we're here again, me and Gods. We have a history of casting long games, and we're in for a long one. And there it is.
Well, they've bucked the trend. But I mean, let's reflect upon this series. Shiva, we can start with you. I mean, it's NPR eliminated, and there's no magical anime-style comeback here.
You know, I thought NP was going to be given some time to have their plan, you know, form around the heroes that they wanted to get the core items, because it was actually Moon that started in the jungle with his axe. I'm thinking, okay, they're going to let Sven free farm. You know, there's a chance here that NP can pull it out, and then they just got everything they wanted so fast, and they killed Envy. Poor Envy. He died like 5 times, I believe, throughout the game. It was very, very unfortunate that Timbersaw needs a bit of a good start. He needs, like, one of his strengths is that he normally doesn't die. He's very tanky.
Yeah, I mean, one of his strengths as well is doing well in the lane against kind of a melee core in the middle against Yak. And at the very early stages, it was looking relatively all right, but it was an Alchemist. There's always going to be space for him to recover from any sort of pressure in the mid lane, and just the rotations from DC's supports were absolutely bang on in terms of not just shutting down Envy, but pretty much the whole team of MP. I mean, the laning stage was a huge mess, and it really did just go sharply downhill for the side of MP as the game went on. Yeah,
nearly 50% of the kills DC did manage to acquire were versus Envy on that Timbersaw. Winter, you were not necessarily convinced or particularly in love with seeing the Timber in EE's hands.
I mean, usually I would suggest, pick Timber against Alchemist, good laning matchup for that, but I know that he does not play this hero. So I was really surprised that they actually picked up the hero, and we even have a stat, right? As Shiva said.
In his pubs, in his history, he has a 15% win rate over 20 games of playing Timbersaw.
15%.
15. 1-5. And this is not his esports profile. This is his
just generally.
Just generally.
So you'd expect it to almost be higher than competitive, just because, you know, he's playing against perhaps arguably lesser opponents.
Yeah, it's not one of his most well-practiced heroes. Let's put it at that.
I mean, it really feels, kind of looking at that stat and looking at how the draft panned out, it looked like it was just a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction to the heroes that DC had. They felt, well, we can fit a Timbersaw in here. This is very good against some of the heroes that DC had. But at the end of the day, just the performance was it was punished. You know, you can't necessarily write EE off for struggling himself as a player. It's just the fact that DC, they probably knew that Envy, he doesn't play a lot of Timbersaw in pro games at all, so they knew that would be the weak link. They heavily punished it early on, and Envy on this hero, a hero that he doesn't play a lot, just seemed it was unable to catch back up. He didn't know what to do once he'd been punished that early on.
Is that something that, you know, you think could have very well been in DC's game plan, Winter, to kind of not force him into that, but kind of guide him, just, you know, like putting the blinkers on and be like, Timber, big Timber?
Probably not, but maybe they know that he doesn't play Timbersaw, and they're really not afraid of. They didn't even try to ban the hero out, so they kind of weren't expecting. I think they banned out the Razor instead, which is something Envy played a lot. So they were just targeting bans at what he usually plays, and maybe they felt like, oh, we don't really have much good options here for Envy. We have to go for something that he doesn't play, but it's really good against Alchemist.
We had a great opportunity earlier on before this series started to actually watch the Misery player profile video. We learned a lot about him. We saw basically the epitome of Danish Viking in his father, saying that it is important to be happy, and I'm sure Misery is happy right now. He's hanging out on the stage. He's got himself a spot in the semi-finals, and Slacks is alongside him.
Thank you very much, Machine. And indeed, he is very happy, as is the crowd, as they are yelling and going ham for him. Woo! DC does it again, boy. Takes out MP, probably one of your biggest competitors, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I suppose so. It's NA Dota, you know. Yep. It's the pinnacle of NA Dota. So.
You're a very famous NA Dota player now, right?
I am.
Okay, fantastic. So I want to talk to you about that first game. It looked like you guys were in complete control, and you took that Naga. Were you doing that as a deny pick, or did you just think it would work well for you?
obviously we know they play Naga, but we also play Naga, so we just felt like it was a good would go for. So yeah, we went with it and it worked out like as planned, basically. So.
Now you are the drafter for the team, correct?
Yes.
All right, so you picked yourself Coddle and then Earthshaker. Both those heroes are kind of seemed as pretty weak by other teams. Why do you guys seem to keep picking those? Why do you like them?
We kind of knew what we wanted to do in game 2. The Shaker pick was a bit like a middle ground. You know, we could go different routes with it, and then yeah, it was just like a casual Shaker in a sense. And then they showed one more hero, and then we knew what to go for. So, and the Coddle is just great with Naga, and like, yeah.
All right. Oh, that guy likes Coddle, my boy. All right. Attaboy. Okay, so standard question, as all people must ask as you go in the semifinals. This is going to be LGD versus Adfinum. I got to know, who is DC most looking out for in that game? Who do you think is going to be the most dangerous team to face?
I don't know. We'll have to see how this series go. I mean, LGD looked really strong yesterday, I think. Better than expected. Obviously, Xiao 8, the only Chinese team. Yeah, it's going to be hard either way. Adfinum also looks strong. So we're just going to prepare for the winner, and then we'll see.
All right. Well, solemn words, but very thought-provoking indeed. That was Misery, the man of the hour. Beautiful movie, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful man. All right, back to you guys on the panel.
Thank you very much. That was Slacks and Misery. Yes, indeed, we did start to open the Misery storybook, and he has added an extra chapter as he gets to the semi-finals of the Boston Major. Will it be the grand finals, and will he be lifting the trophy? Remains to be seen. First of all, he has to overcome who just joined him in the semis. We'll be talking about that in just a moment, but we have got to bring up that scoreboard, and it is a rather dank scoreboard at that. Such a swift dispatch of NP into the second for NP, 20 for DC.
Yeah, I like that there's no total score visible here, so that, you know, you kind of can avoid that meme a little bit.
It's there.
Is it there? I can't see it. No.
Absolutely.
It's hidden just under the team names.
Well, okay, it's hidden just under the team names.
It's a small 420.
It's a small
It's a casual
one.
420.
You don't really see it that well. Anyway, what you do see well is that overall, Digital Chaos is just... They looked unstoppable in that game.
I mean, this game was much more of a run over than game 1, and that's saying something. You know, game 1 in itself was looking pretty dire for MP, but game 2, just DC performing on another level. I mean, it's kind of what we expected coming into this one, you know, unless MP were going to have this special bit of flair.
I mean, let's not forget that we didn't frame it as such, but we were waiting to see DC get tested, right?
Yeah.
I mean, truly tested. They played Wings, they played LFY, and they played Faceless. NP, most people would agree, is in a different category to those, and another quick 2-0. Surely this is where, you know, you start shoveling coal into the DC hype train. I know I would.
Yeah, like everyone was saying, oh, MP is going to be a tough test because they know them well, but at the same time, DC know them well. So a lot of the bans and picks were really directed towards certain playstyle that MP has.
And perhaps to investigate that playstyle better than anyone here on the panel is Purge. Let's see what he's got for us here. I'm rubbing my hands together and ready to learn some more.
Hey guys, once again, we saw an Alchemist do very well, but it's not like NP didn't do their best to try to shut it down. They've won a lot of outgames have turned into victories, and NP followed up with the Timbersaw, much talked about, but a very good 1v1 hero against Alchemist. Very high regen, very high armor, and your first skill is also going to do a huge nuke against Alchemist and make sure that his HP is lowered temporarily. So pretty much any trading against him is not going to work out. You could see Envy's pressure in the lane. Despite being a little sloppy with the hero here or there, his laning was fantastic, and he constantly kept Weehaw at really low CS. The supports even rotated to make sure that no matter what, Alchemist did not get a rune, which was a really nice benefit as well. No free bounties to catch up as well. But things kind of started turning sour when they started losing heroes in their dual lane. Because he grabbed the top rune, MSS on the Sand King ends up dying on the top lane. And then as the game rotated around, Moon Meander got into the lane and did amazing against the Sven. Melee hero versus an axe, and they had Fissure to keep the axe closer to those melee heroes. And that was really a big thing that turned fights around repeatedly. A couple Fissures here and there guaranteed that they got follow-up and were able to get those kills. So while Envy did have a pretty straightforward laning matchup, he tried his best to pressure against Alchemist. It just didn't really work out too well. And this was really the first fight where they finally got Radiance. It came about here. And even without Radiance, I don't really see NP winning this fight. They're already really far behind in net worth as well. So the laning stage, they did their best, but Envy couldn't quite carry the game on his shoulders. Maybe a little sloppy on the hero, but ultimately a pretty straightforward DC win.
Yeah, straightforward. It's not usually attributed to DC Comics. They make absolutely no sense, but it's good to see that we are seeing DC pick that one up convincingly. Oh, again with the rhyme. I hate myself. Okay, guys, well, let's wrap up this series. It is going to be the quickest one we've seen. 47 minutes of play across 2 games for that victory. I just want to say your closing thoughts, though, in that rather fantastic and spectacular Dota tie.
Hey, Ralph, thank you.
Is that available to the public, or is
it
that,
is,
is that
right
like a
now
caster
at the
exclusive?
secret shop over opposite the Wang. There we go.
Opposite the Wang.
Opposite the Wang, not mine. The theatre that we're in.
Hang on, wait. I don't know. Are you pointing your Wang? No.
No.
You could, if you point your
I'm
Wang
not at
and
the moment, Alex. I mean, that, there's nothing really too exciting about that series in terms of flashy plays from MP. It may have been there if there was, maybe if the MV Queen of Pain came out. It didn't. We got the MV Timbersaw instead, which was.
Oh, Queen of Pain floats your boat, does she?
Only when MV plays it,
okay.
and only when he misses the sonic waves. So it's very, very particular.
Okay.
But overall, I think the series, as I said at the start, we needed MP to bring a special bit of flair. The bit of the magic. It wasn't quite there today. Maybe if we saw this matchup on another day, it would have gone a different way. But DC overall, reliability, they take the series.
It's a British
flair
thing.
wasn't there. He's doing it. He can't stop.
It's a British
It's
thing.
a bug. We've caught the bug.
Oh.
Rhyming bug.
Yeah, you did it accidentally there.
You were rhyming. Okay, well.
Right, Shiva, I do just want your closing thoughts, and also actually let's screw closing thoughts. Let's set our sights on what is ahead, because we have another series. One more team needs a semi-final spot. We have 3 of 4, and I know you're excited.
I am very excited. I think it is no secret I was a little biased on the panel yesterday.
Sure.
And I'm happy that I'm not going to be biased on the panel next series, because I am going to kick my feet up, and I'm going to just watch the game and enjoy some good Dota, because, I was really surprised to see LGDFY do so well yesterday. Personally, I was expecting LGD, like the original LGD, to make it through, but you can't underestimate the power of Zhao 8. So I'm kind of worried for Adfinum, but I think it's going to be a great series.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get hooked up with like an Adfinum shirt, just go sit yourself in the crowd and enjoy it from there. I'm sure they're having fun. They've been making plenty of noise. And just finally, Winter, both teams have impressed. One beat LGD. Invited. The other beat Newbie. Invited. These guys are both surprised. They've taken 2 invited teams out of the equation. This should be a fantastic final game.
Yeah, both teams have a really good matchup in their previous series.
Yeah.
And they have a point to prove. Xiao with his stand-ins, not a pushover, and Adfinum, the new team, the hungry team.
Yeah, there you go. A perfect summary. We have got a lot of stories to look forward to. And actually, you know what? We've got a little treat for you while you wait. While you do prepare yourself for the final series of the day here, before we prepare for the semi-finals, we're going to be taking a quick look at some Dota Family Feud. I don't know. That's what I've been told. Let's take a look.
Next matchup, Adfinum versus LGD Forever Young.
Question number 1. What tilts you the most in a game of Dota 2, as polled by 100 fans sitting at the Boston Major? Begin. Go. Deliberate. You can yell out whatever. Forehead.
Jungle Legion.
What was that?
Jungle Legion.
Jungle Legion survey. Do I have a Jungle Legion? That's incorrect. Sorry. It does not work on Malstrick's list. You're good to go whenever you guys are ready.
Kappa Prime.
Okay, Kappa, you're too slow. You're too slow.
Flaming other teammates.
Do I see flaming other teammates? Ding, ding, that is correct. That is correct. How many points do we have there? 10 points for Team A. Oh, what is your team name? I'm so sorry.
Oh, what's our team name?
Eternal Envy.
Team Eternal Envy. All right, I heard a Bible thumb here. Bible thumb.
Astral? Wait, we're doing team names or answers?
No. You're doing your answer.
Sorry, yeah.
You don't get a name if you get 0 points.
Same question?
It's always the same question. What tilts you the most in a game of Dota 2?
Astral Prism.
Astral Prism. Do I have Astral Prism? Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. How many points was that?
4 points.
4 points. Not the best. What is your team name, though? Team Tickles. Team Tickles is doing great here. All right. The question still remains. You got 1 more chance each. 1 more guess each, please. Whenever you want. Same question. Ellie, you go.
Feeders.
Do I hear feeders? That is correct. How many points? 16 points. So that is the highest that you can get. Team Tickles coming out ahead. 1 more guess. What do you have?
What do we got?
Team Eternal Envy.
All right.
Will you throw this game?
First of all, we're changing the name to Team SV Jesus.
You're about to lose, so I mean, your team name doesn't really matter, but.
Techies.
Do I hear a Techies? Ding ding! But how many points?
9 points.
9 points for Team Techies, SVG, Jesus, Eternal Envy. Please add up our points here, Mouserix.
Thank you, Lois. Team Tickles wins by 1 point.
Team Tickles! Round 1 is won by 1 point. All right, it's time for round 2, ladies and gentlemen. Round 2. If you were trapped on a desert island, what pro player would you like to have with you? We pulled 100 members of the audience here today, and this is for the win on our best of 3. What do we have here? Go. You ready? What was it?
Crit.
What? You did not? Oh, I'm sorry. You did not? Oh, I'm sorry.
Crit.
Crit. Ding, ding, ding. That is correct.
4 points.
4. That is the worst. One of the worst answers. Crit. Not very popular on that one. You guys, all you have to do is say a Twitch emote, and it is in your ball, in your court. Anybody?
We have to wait for that.
Can we get another
No.
guess?
It's you. Oh, Kappa. Here we go.
E, of course, because he's perfect.
Eternal Envy. Ding, ding, ding.
6 points.
6 points. Right above Crit. Right above Crit. Everyone, take your time.
Pride.
Cap of Pride.
Arteezy.
Do I have RTZ? I do. How many points?
15 points.
15 points. That's second highest one. 15 points. It's not looking good for Team Tickles. Pro player that you would want to be stuck on an island with. Take your time, Team Tickles. You have another guess. And I'll give this one to you. You don't even have to yell out. Just randomly say any pro. Who's a nice pro player? Are there anyone even out there that's almost like a flower because of how kind they are? Excuse me. What was that?
Ellie Giggle.
Ellie Giggle.
I'll say no tail.
No tail. Yes, that's ding, ding, ding.
19 points.
19 points for Team Tickles. All right, finally, I'll let you guys have this one for free. Tickles with a no steal. You need a real good pro player one more time. According to the audience, the pro player you'd most like to be stuck on a desert island with, you must do this. Team Eternal Envy, SVG, Genius, Techies.
All right, I'm going to say Zai.
Do I hear a Zai? Ding, ding, but for how many points?
9 points.
9 points. That's a pretty high. We're going to add up those scores. Judges, please. Who wins?
Team Eternal Envy.
No! Team Eternal Envy in our best of 3 challenge. No, wait. You guys, did you win round 1? Team Tickles won. It is a tie. It's time for the tiebreaker question. Ladies and gentlemen, the tiebreaker question. This is according to me what I care about most, and I will tell you who is the best hero in the game. Go ahead.
Omni Knight.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry, but that is going to be, yeah.
Techies.
That is correct, sir. It was Techies. It was Techies is the greatest hero to ever grace Dota 2. I'm so sorry.
Who are you?
But he is amazing. Please, Ice Frog, bring him back. Congratulations to Team Tickles. You've done it. Well done. Woo!